A German startup is automating criminal complaints against bad speech. Their clients and the poster faces are people like the German Vice Chancellor and Economy Minister Habeck. You badmouth him, you get sued automatically. Obviously, this is just about like insults. Because we know that like people use systems like this responsibly, right? It's like the YouTube copyright system. I wanted to talk about German politics for just a second because it's kind of like a dangerous trend that is like happening in the world when it comes to like surveillance. There's the situation going on with Discord. There's the situation with the UK that is like if you want to sign up for a VPN, you need to provide your ID. It's just to prevent that like children sign up for these services. It's not for like collecting information on these things. No. If you need a VPN, go give the company your government ID just so we can know what you're doing. I mean, just so we can prevent the children from signing up. Obviously, it's just about protecting the children. And in Germany, our chancellor said that like people on social media should use their government name. German Chancellor Merz demands that people use their real names on social media. We in politics also use our real names, so I expect the same from everyone who criticizes our country. Yeah, that's a bad idea. You know why? Because, you know, doxing. That's already a problem that if you're a leftist, if you're an activist, if you're a trans person on the internet, people are going to like dig into you and then they're going to find all this information about you. And it's not helping anyone because like fascists are, you know, they are proudly on Facebook with their real name, with their real image and so on, declaring that trans people are mentally ill and whatnot because there are no repercussions for that. But like if trans people do that, if those that are vocal, you know, on the left do that, then that is leading to a lot of harassment campaigns. These are things that I have to deal with where people create like fake screenshots in order to like harass me and try to get other people to like dig into me by like pushing these fake narratives and so on. And that can be scary, right? Like there are a lot of content creators who have been victims of like these types of attacks. I'm just like really scared of like how conservatives are paving the way for like those that are more extreme to take over and take advantage from the systems that they are laying out. You see that in the US. TikTok and so on is collecting all of the information like immigration status, are you transgender and so on. And then they are giving that to the government who are taking advantage of that. Who are going to put people on lists, right? That's like what ICE is doing. If you're criticizing ICE, if you're protesting ICE. So it's like really scary that like Germany is now pushing the same nonsense of like, oh, we need to know what you do on the internet. We need to know if you sign up for anything, you need to show your government ID. If you sign up, you gotta use your real name. You can't hide behind a pseudonym. You can't use like a random profile picture. You gotta show your face. And that is putting more people in a position where it's like, it is not safe for me to speak up. This is limiting me in my ability to freely express myself and stand up against like the injustices and so on. Because, well, now my real name is attached to it. And what can people find through like real name and so on? Like that is also like opening Pandora's box to so much more. If somebody wants to criticize Merz for being like incompetent and being the most disliked chancellor Germany ever had, then I think that you should have the ability to do so without putting your life on the line. And the system doesn't really prevent people on the far right to speak up. They still have their bot farms. They still have like their strength in numbers. People on the left don't really have that luxury. And then what happens if the government shifts further and further into like a fascist regime? Now everybody who is being critical of the government, now everybody who is like speculated to be trans and so on, being like on a list, and then like a fascist government has access to that, what do you think happens? Well, history is going to repeat itself. What about stalkers? This is not just like a threat for like the activists, those that are like actually critical. It's just like a threat for anyone who's on the internet. This is also not helping anyone. They've been pushing this like Klarnamenpflicht, which is like usage of like real name and so on, for a really long time. Like conservatives really, really love setting up systems that right-wingers, that the far right can take advantage of. I don't know, I kind of wonder why that happens. They've been trying to implement these things for years, and by they I mean like conservatives, right? This is like something that the CDO has been pushing for a really long time. And it kind of died down for a while, and now it's being like brought up again in the same breath as like, just hand over your face to like this AI company. Don't worry about like the data and so on. Just hand over your government ID to like this platform. It's just about protecting the children. We don't want to have like children on the internet, right? Like social media needs to be banned for anyone under the age of 16, and to make sure that we're protecting all the children, just hand over your government ID to like this private company. It seems like the world, the Western world, is building a system controlled by a lot of, you know, AI companies, AI tech companies, to, I don't know, just drift into like some authoritarian Western society. So like everything you do online is being tracked, everything is being traced, and it's just like being hid behind like, oh, we just need to protect the children. German Chancellor Merz uses a German startup that finds insults on social media with AI and then sues people. He was insulted as a little Nazi and a filthy drunkard. A parliamentary group leader Merz filed hundreds of criminal complaints for insults. In order to prove that I'm not a fascist, I will sue everybody who is calling me a fascist while doing fascism. That's amazing. A German startup is automating criminal complaints against bad speech online. The company automatically scans for insults and other bad speech for their clients and makes a criminal complaint. People get sued for saying naughty things automatically. Their clients and the poster faces are people like the German Vice Chancellor and Economy Minister Habeck. You badmouth him, you get sued automatically. Many politicians, but also many other public figures, are exposed to hatred, insults, and even death threats on a daily basis. I have decided not to accept this and thus to normalize it, but to take consistent action together with So Done against insults and threats that violate the law and the law. What? I want to counteract the destruction of the democratic discourse and show that the rule of law is assertive. Obviously, this doesn't work in other countries. It is just like if you're in Germany and you're criticizing, you know, people with a lot of money, people in positions of power, then it's being used against you. So be careful what you say, obviously. This is just about like insults, right? Because we know that like people use systems like this responsibly, right? It's like the YouTube copyright system, right? People have never taken down content that they didn't have, you know, the right to take it down. Never has the YouTube copyright system been like exploited. So like these systems obviously are just about bad actors, because like, you know, the idea of free speech here in Germany is not the same as like free speech in America, right? Anyways, let me play this video from, when was that posted? February 18th, 2 days ago.
Aber ich möchte Klarnamen im Internet sehen.
We have something like The Office, but it's like this guy, and I just can't unsee the fact that this guy not only sounds and talks like him, but also kind of looks like him. There's like a game with like certain quotes where you can guess if this dude said it or our chancellor said it. And it's actually pretty difficult, not gonna lie.
Aber ich möchte Klarnamen im Internet sehen. Ich möchte wissen, wer da sich zu Wort meldet. Das sind doch häufig genug Leute, die im Schatten der Anonymität größtmögliche Transparenz von anderen fordern.
Yeah, random citizens wanting the people in positions of power to be transparent and revealing where they're being paid from and so on is not the same as the government wanting everybody who is saying anything online to show their real name. This is not a double standard. There's like a power dynamic here.
Ich möchte, dass wir das auf gleicher Augenhöhe miteinander unternehmen. Wir stellen uns in der Politik auch mit Klarnamen und offenem Visier eine Auseinandersetzung in unserer Gesellschaft. Dann erwarte ich das auch von allen anderen, die sich kritisch mit unserem Land und unserer Gesellschaft auseinandersetzen.
Isn't that wild that, like, you know, politicians and so on, they're being paid and they're being protected and so on, and like random people aren't? You know, like if somebody's being harassed, there are a lot of people who are trying to intimidate someone. Going to the police doesn't really do anything because it's like, well, we can't really protect you yet. And then something is going to happen and then it's going to be too late. For politicians, it's not really the same. Also, you're in a position of power. Like, of course, people, you know, the peasants can be critical of the rulers of the land. And it's absolutely delusional to like a demand from the general population to like reveal everything about them just to be able to voice their opinion.